Welcome, everyone. I'm Ivy Rivera. I'm a psychic medium, a Taino Airwalk. This is my Ask Ivy show where you drop a $10 donation and you can ask any question under the sun. So health, wealth, love. If you want to know about travel, investments, paranormal, spiritual, curious questions, if you have a deceased loved one or pet you would like to speak to, anything goes. But I do ask that you include the first name of whoever it is that you're referring to. It speeds up the process for me so I can get onto your neighbor faster and give you a more in-depth reading with the time that we do have. If you don't want to put someone's first name, at least drop the initials of whatever it is that you're referring to. And this counts for questions where you guys are asking about your business or about a specific home. If you're comparing things, give me the house number, give me the business name, give me the title of whatever it is that you're referring to, okay? Because a lot of people have a lot of different things going on. I don't have to sort through all of that. I can, again, just get more in-depth and more efficient answer for you if you point me directly to your question. Jill will be taking your questions, my beautiful producer, but if your name on the payment does not match your social media profile, she may be hunting you down to make sure that your question is getting answered. Okay, so pay attention. Watch for her in the comment section. If you guys prefer to do this privately, you can go to ivyrivera.psychicmedium.com and book with me anytime. I do work internationally. Most of what I do is over the phone. I do have an events page right now. If you wanted to come see me in person, or if you want to come here to the Ivy League Psychic Academy for a reading, you can also go onto my website to book a party or a psychic fair anytime. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. Who do we have, Jill? Edgar. Edgar says, what blessings are coming for me in 2026? I'm excited to get to my clinical license. Oh, I'm excited to get my clinical license and for my friendship with Jennifer to deepen. Okay, so that's highly suggestive, but I like the influence attempt. Okay, but yes, if it comes up, I will certainly let you know. Okay, so 2026. Let's see what appears to be coming up. Now, also keep in mind, the way that things look today, because we're talking about the span of an entire year, it could change based on your free will, the actions you take or do not take, other people's hands being in the pot, making some of your decisions here, from Jennifer to your employers to whatnot. Okay, so a lot of free will involved in this question. However, for 2026, Edgar, what blessings are coming? I do feel a progression upward with the work, the money, the resources, the career in the third month, January, February, that'll be March. And there's also talk of April. So March going into April, something may be solidified in April potentially. So there could be like a contract that gets signed, something locked in. I'm hearing an increase by 50. Could it be 50,000? It could, take it how it resonates, maybe 15, but we'll see. And the point I'm getting with that is to push it. Okay, to push it, because they're never going, no one's ever going to offer you what you're worth. This is a capitalistic society, right? So it's all business. They see you as business. They're offering you 2, they're offering you 3. You push 6 or you push 7. Can we meet at 5? I think so. Let's see what happens, but definitely push it. Go high, they'll go low. We'll come together somewhere in between. I'm pretty certain that can work out that way. You also seem to be increasing with your mediumship quite a bit in the 4th and 5th month of the year, with a lot of prophecy coming to you in the 6th month. There could also be, I want to say, a better use of the language. So the language of mediumship, and I feel like I'm choking, this is going to come through your throat chakra, right? So if you've had blockages in communication with spirit, whether it be not understanding what they're saying or not communicating with them properly, it is a back and forth dialogue, of course, just like it is with any human being, but it is a bit of a lost language. You seem to be increasing that. So it seems like you take the bull by the horns, like you are deliberately doing it, and the blessings will certainly be there. There does seem to be a significant change in the country. Maybe I'm not supposed to say too much about this, in the 6th month, and that will be affecting your circumstances. I know that you are asking, about blessings. So just because it's changes that affect the whole country doesn't necessarily mean, that it's going to be an easy change. But I do feel ultimately for you, it can be made into something positive. So plan on the 6th month. All right, let's move on to another one. Thank you, Edgar. CJG. CJG says, how can I stop choosing the wrong men when they don't show their true colors right away? So there's some new research that just came out on men, not just heterosexual men, but men in relationships in general, although it did seem worse when it was a heterosexual relationship. So they do this even more so with women. But anyone dating men should expect, based on this research, that they have 3 masks. And when I read this study, my jaw dropped, because I have been saying this for years. Okay. I grew up in a family of toxic, abusive men in every way, shape, and form. And I have attracted toxic, ridiculous men. And then I see a million clients who have the same problem, because it's not for women, or whatever, gay men. It's not your shitty ability to choose. It's the fact that they lie. Okay. So maybe for some of you, if you have a problem choosing the right people. But what this study showed was that at 6 months, their first mask slips. Now, we've always been told it's 3 months, right? Because of the chemicals and the adrenaline and the dopamine and the endorphins and the whatever, right? The chemistry, what's the word I'm looking for, right? So because your pheromones, because all of that drops at 3 months, we're told at 3 months, each partner sees the other one's mask drop. That's always rubbed me the wrong way, because if you're a fairly realistic person, you should not have a massive wake up call at 3 months. But the 6th month thing rings true. So with men, they are trained up from birth in the patriarchy to extract the free labor of women, to extract the emotional weightlifting of women, to extract from society. This is what they're trained to do. It's almost like they're trained up in the military to attack, right? So every single male that is alive on earth today, being raised up in this patriarchy, is trained to extract from women. So when they see you, they don't necessarily see you as a person. Even the ones who have worked on it a lot tend to prove in time that they're not capable of, consistently seeing you as a human being. They have to work really hard at that. But at 6 months, with the first mask dropping, you would start to notice their red flags. I'm going to tell you, first red flag is the last red flag. Run. There are no second chances. There is no 3 strikes, you're out. First red flag is the last red flag. Now, research shows that at a year and a half, the second mask drops, which is why they push marriage or monogamy or pregnancy or to baby trap you or to move into your house, especially the homosexuals. Careful, ladies, it's getting cold outside. They want to get in. They want to lock this thing down before it hits that year and a half and that second mask slips. And the third one, guess when? 3 years. Give a testimony in the comment section if this has happened to you. This person seemed normal somewhat until 3 years in, and then you see the reality of who they are. And it's often a monster. And often by then, you're married and strapped with a kid. So be careful. Best way to tell. And know that they're extremely gifted at hiding it, and that you just need to be really, really patient and intolerant. Patient in seeing the truth and intolerant of any red flags. All right, let's move on to another one. I feel like that was more of a general reading for everyone, but thank you, CJG. Maraid says, hi, Ivy. I was looking to buy a washing machine from someone named Maddie, Madi. through Facebook Marketplace for $100. Is this a good deal for me or should I skip it? I need a new washing machine ASAP. You know, she feels a little flighty to me. I honestly felt you like either driving there and there was no one there, or she keeps changing the time. I think it's worth looking into, but if you start to feel like she's showing signs of inconsistency, you may need to prepare to be stiffed on this situation. It also doesn't seem to be like a major priority for her. Maybe that's just her regular personality. She'll be different with this. You know, it feels like it has a possibility of working out, but not a 100% guarantee of working out. And I really don't think that you want to be wasting any more time, okay, than what you already have. It does feel like you have two other options with this. I would also be looking maybe at whether it's like used or new, but even from like maybe dealers or, you know, bigger stores, or like a secondhand. Look at all your secondhand options. It doesn't have to be limited to something like Facebook. Okay. I'm not so sure that I'm looking at like Best Buy, but Best Buy does keep coming up for you. So there could also be some other options, maybe even like a decent payment plan so you can get something better, you know, with a like warranty and this and that, but not have to pay it all up front. So I feel like the message for you, and this is coming from a grandfather, you get what you pay for. So keep it in mind. All right, we're going to move on to another one. Tony Ramos, paid week through PayPal. Do my grandparents or godparents have a message for me? So for Tony, from grandparents or godparents, your godparents, I want to say, are coming in. I feel like your grandparents have been reaching out to you regularly. So you may have already received those messages or seen them in a dream. And so it feels like you're kind of at peace with that. Like there's nothing you're not listening to right now that they've been trying to tell you. Your godparents, however, are mentioning what feels like a birthday or an anniversary right around this time. So you are getting a red rose. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it how it resonates. I do feel like they're trying to get you to two different things. I want to say your godfather talking about being more playful. And I want to say your godmother talking about spending more time alone. Let's say personal space and writing. Okay, so there are a million different ways to do this. You don't have to do it exactly like what they're suggesting. Find your own way. But when he is talking about you needing to be more playful, this is feeding your inner child. This is being in a restful state of mind, a more playful attitude, more open-minded, okay, to things like exploration or, you know, music. This could be something you haven't experienced before. I'm not saying you need to go join a dance class necessarily, but should you be going to, like, I don't know, either some drumming classes or some sound healing meditations, or try yoga or a spiritual group, or, you know, there's all these different ways that you can be playful that is fresh to your energy, to your experience. This is going to help you to grow. It's going to help your inner child feel alive. You know, your inner child used to run to anything. You know, when you were a kid, you would want to explore everything. And it feels a little bit like you're stuck in a routine. You know, maybe the things that you do to feel good, you know, or what you think is play is no longer really functioning in that way. So expansion there. When I go over here with your godmother, there's talk of your personal space and writing. That pretty much speaks for itself. Make sure that you are taking more personal space. This could be not necessarily being alone in your house, but like turning off the phone, you know, not responding to social media, just even for 30 minutes or an hour, getting out a notepad and pen and doing some automatic writing or journaling or doodling. I see you becoming artistic. Okay, so I see you drawing. That is a form of right brain thinking. Everything artistic, musical, intuitive is on the right side of the brain. That is where we channel. But you need to be with your notepad and pen and doing a little more personal space than what you're doing. And they're going to be coming through when you're doing these things. Okay, so watch for signs and symbols repeatedly coming from them. Godfather in particular, I feel like butterflies, winged animals of any kind, includes moths, and godmother, I feel like flowers, and what we call Claire Augustine, the smell of perfume, phantom odors. Okay, thank you, Tony. We are going to move on to another one. This is from Manny. Manny says, hi, Ivy. Can I get a message from my cat who passed? Her name was Muffins. Oh, when I go over here with Muffins, I feel like I can't breathe. I don't know if she put on weight or if there was a loss of weight. There's talk of the weight and there's talk of the back part of the body. So this could be like the hips, the joints, the feet, the organs, the bathroom issues, if there were any bathroom issues or slowing down in that area. But, you know, what I'm really getting is the lack of it's like capacity to breathe. I feel like I'm slowing down in through the chest, the lungs, the heart. And there's a ton of love for you here. There's a ton of affection following you around. I feel like if you were to carry a camera, you know, what do they call them? Because on the selfie sticks, you know, it's almost like if I'm carrying this thing and I'm just kind of walking around my house, especially at night, you may see orbs flying behind you around your feet. All the way up to your hips, really. Okay, so Muffins likes to come through as orbs, as streams of light or energy. I also hear tap, tap, tap. And so this could be like a ceiling fan with something hanging from it or a light flickering. It's like tap, tap, tap. Muffins likes to tap. I feel like this cat was a bit of a hunter as well. Okay. So you may also feel sometimes you're laying in bed and it's like feeling Muffins jump on your feet, jump on your ankles, jump on your legs, and then trying to sleep with you. Okay. But I want to say Muffins is definitely in a good place. And I feel like it was their time. Okay. 100%, but a ton of love. This is a cat that's very, very attached to you, very attached, very protective of you. And I'm not just saying like, well, somebody break in the house, you know, this cat's protecting the house. It's more like emotional, mental, any physical ailments you have. So when you're not feeling well, you're going to hear more from Muffins in any way, mental or emotional. Okay. A lot of love there. Spoiled. We can move on to the next one. Thank you. Liz says, hi, Ivy. Can I get a message from my father who passed? His name is Robert. Okay, so we're going to move on to Liz. I do want to say real quick, and I forgot to ask everyone, I don't know if I have a hype button. I don't know if that's for people who have like 100,000 or more. But all over YouTube, everyone's like, click the hype button. So if I have one, I wouldn't know. But if you are tuning in here on YouTube, please hype me up. And for everyone else, wherever you're tuning in, please give this video a thumbs up right now. Share it. Drop in the comment section either a couple hearts or let me know where you're tuning in from. Any comment of any kind really does help me out in the algorithm. And please do subscribe. If you are here on YouTube and you want to become a member, hit the join button to see your 3 different tiers of membership options. And if you are tuning in late, this is my Ask Ivy show. You drop a $10 donation, ask a question of any kind. I will deliver messages from my psychic ability and spirit. Liz, back to Liz. Hi, Ivy. Can I get a message from my father who passed? His name is Robert. Robert. I do feel like he's traveling with you quite a bit in the car. I do feel like he's making sure that maintenance is being kept up. I don't feel just with the car. I also feel like your physical health, your mental and emotional well-being. I feel like your finances, like he's kind of got his nose up in all of your affairs. He is talking big on resources today and a little bit on relationship stuff. So I think we do want to get over there. He is giving a red rose, which can be a birthday or an anniversary right around this time. It can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it out, resonates. There is talk of your mom as well and giving a white rose there, which can be symbolic of not having a proper goodbye or lack of closure and needing some healing, which he is sending. But with you, he is talking about your resources. I don't know if you feel like there are gaps in your resources. Now, he's talking about this slightly over here to the left. Anything to the left is going to be the past, meaning it's already been here a minute. It's not news to you. But take it how it resonates. If you've already wrapped up that cycle, I didn't necessarily feel like you did. It feels a little bit like whack-a-mole. So if at different times you feel like you have a gap in your resources, your finances, you're working hard to fill it in, you fill it in, it happens again. This is an area he's watching over to sort of make sure you can be lifted up and out of that. It's like a level up that can sustain itself, give you a nice trajectory going forward, so we can look more at investments and other things in the upcoming 2 years. If you've done anything new also with your degree, certification, title change, research and upgrade in any way, I feel like that's going to pay off big. There is talk of a relationship here with you where I feel like you need to not sell yourself short. He doesn't have a lot of tolerance for that. So I don't want to color this. I don't want to say it's just one person. This is probably hitting you in a couple different areas. But in general, if you feel like someone doesn't listen to you, if you feel like a relationship has become one-sided, if you feel like, there's just no balance and reciprocity in it in some way, and you have a creeping suspicion that the labor is not only falling onto you, because that's obvious, but will continue to fall onto you, you may be cutting it loose and setting it free. And he's supporting you in that. He loves you so much. Also, there's talk of another female. So I don't know if this is a sister or daughter, but please give out love, okay, to the other female. He's watching over you guys very carefully. All right. Thank you. We are going to move on to another one. And next up is as soon as I read it out loud too, Jill, you could pop up the next one. You don't need to wait on me. Anna says, do you see me moving out of my house next year? Anna, house next year, which will be 2026. Do I see you moving? I do. I think it's an option. I don't really know why you would stay once you get this other option. So there is talk of 3 months into 2026. That's the second time this was said for people tonight, and we just started. So something is going on in March of 2026. Okay, you guys mark my words. Come back. Let me know what the heck is this. So it has to be tied to the astrology. But I think that what's going on here is that a block is removed. So you get the key to a door of opportunity that you didn't have access to before. And you seem to see, it's almost like light shining down, okay, on certain properties. There's also talk of land. Okay. So if you were looking at land, building on land, all of this would count, but it's essentially an investment, and it could very well be a transition, from one to the other, simultaneously. There's, a lot of option happening, I want to say, in the 6th month as well, going into the 7th month. But it's really in the 7th month that you're looking back, even at the previous month, and saying, wow, these circumstances are unrecognizable. Even I myself feel fairly unrecognizable. And so it could very well happen by that time. Keep in mind, this is a free will question, meaning it's up to you entirely. You can do all of this, you can do none of this, but there are also other hands in the pot. Okay. Sellers, brokers, potential other buyers, construction, so with a lot of hands in the pot, timelines can move. I would sort of doubt it at this time. Just this looks pretty steady. It looks like something you've had your eye on for a while, and like you're actually manifesting in this way. So keep your manifestations up, and I think you're going to get exactly what you want. This looks good. Donique says, I'm facing brain decompression surgery for a Chiari malformation, and it's looking like they'll be fusing my neck as well. Is it going to be okay? I cannot prescribe or diagnose, but I absolutely feel like it's going to be okay. I am pretty confident in your surgeon here. This person may have a little bit of wild energy, or you may pick up on their energy sometime. I don't know if any of you guys have ever hung out with pilots, but that's always an experience. Like, they could be a little wild. They could be really reckless. Like, they're a breed of their own. I'll leave it at that. This surgeon has that energy, and it would make me very hesitant. But when you look a little deeper, some people can master that, like a lot of pilots do. Although I think they're too cocky, but some people can master that. They have to be a little crazy. They have to be different. They have to be extreme to get to where they are today. It takes all kinds. So I feel like buckle in, put your helmet on, and let them handle it, okay? Because I am very confident in this level of weird. I think that what may come up a little bit is recovery time. And this is really on you. You have got to take your recovery time seriously. You cannot be like, well, I'm sick of this bed and I feel amazing. Um, you know, the example that Spirit's giving here is how someone who is like in hospice, for example, right? Right before they pass, like 24 to 48 hours before they pass, they literally like sit up, they may like move around, their eyes are open for the first time, and God knows how they're talking, they're eating, they're drinking. It's amazing. They feel phenomenal, and everyone's like, holy shit. Grandpa's gonna stick around another year or so. Like, I never thought I'd see the day, and then that was the end of the party right there, you seem to have the same attitude. You seem to be like, I feel amazing. I almost feel like high about my new life. Like, I've done enough healing. Let's go. Let's live. And maybe you have spent a lot of time not living to your full capacity because of this, but you need to be reasonable. You're in this for the long haul. This is a massive investment and you need to treat it as such. So try to think of it, instead of like a prison sentence for yourself in recovery, as like a time of luxury. Pretend at the hospital or when you're taking trips to do your physical therapy, pretend you're going to a hotel, pretend you're going to a spa. Like, be delulu about the whole situation, but do take your rest and recovery seriously. Okay. That's where I think we're going to see the best improvements. And if you push too hard or you blow it off or you get reckless, this is also where, you could be like, oh, well, maybe it didn't go as well as I had hoped, and that would be on you, not the surgeons. So, prepare, delegate as well. If they say you can't lift 10 pounds, I don't care how much money you have to throw at the problem, or you have to trade with someone else. You need to get creative. A, B, C, D. What if I can't get B to happen? What can I do for C, D, E? You know what I mean? Or you know what? Maybe that thing doesn't need to get done, but take it seriously. Bethany says, is there anything I need to know about the upcoming court case with my ex-husband, Tyler? Ugh, this name lately. So much corruption with it. Sorry, all Tyler's viewing. Is there anything I need to know about the upcoming court case with my ex-husband? Anything she needs to know? No, he's a weasel. He seems to be deflating. He looks like a sad balloon. Boop, boop, boop. Nope. I think you took the wind out of his sails. I don't know what number you did on this guy, or your lawyer or whatever, but it feels like you did all right. Okay. You did all right. And I think that people reach a point when, they can't manipulate and push someone around. They can't bully anymore. They just hit this brick wall and they just deflate. And that's what he looks like. Okay. He looks like a sad puddle. And so, he may try to throw his weight around, but with someone in his state, in his position, with no cards to play, it's going to be all verbal. It's going to be all like temper tantrumy. It's going to be huffy puffy and under his breath, and nothing that you can't ignore. So no, I don't see him pulling anything legitimate out like in court. I think, whether it be a mediator or the judge or, whoever's overseeing this. Originally it felt like a judge to me, so take it how it resonates, but I think everyone's seeing through him. And I actually think things work in your favor very nicely. Okay. So keep pushing your agenda. Good riddance. Scotty is next. Scotty on TikTok. How does making money on social media look for me? Well, I would need to know a little bit more about like your business name, what you plan on doing, if you want to narrow it down, because it seems like you went in 8 different directions, on this. So, and that's for anyone who's dropping a question like this, like get a little more specific. All of the world of social media, all of the things you've ever planned on doing, and you're still between 3 different things in your head, making money on social media look for me. I'm going to put it this way. I think if you do it in a very specific way that feels to me like advertising, it feels to me like marketing, okay, and you do it using a lot of voice, not necessarily face and body, right? But like images, imagery, videography, and your voice. Okay. Or maybe even someone else's voice, I guess, but I felt more yours. I think it could have a high success rate. I think it's also important that you realize that you have to ram it down people's throats. And, um, you know, you guys may look at my social media and be like, God, she's obnoxious, but you have no idea if I don't ram it at exactly that amount or more, that it doesn't work. I know for a fact that's the minimum. I'm doing the minimum. So you really do have to ram it down people's throats. So we're talking about repetition. We're talking about putting enough time into it. And we're talking about creating something so that it's not an excessive amount of labor on you, creating one thing and then breaking it up into little pieces so that it can be used everywhere in a million different ways. I've got an image of it, I've got a short clip of it. I've got a longer video of it. I've got da 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 da. I also feel like, you need to be engaging. I feel like it needs to be engaging with the audience. So maybe you're playing a game with people, you're getting them to interact, you're offering something like a sale or a discount, or, you're asking them to comment. There needs to be some kind of interaction going on there. But yes, I see success. But again, I would have to narrow it down. Scott said TikTok shop and cat stuff. Okay, cat stuff. I think when we're talking about the cat stuff, it may get a little exhausting for you. You seem to sometimes just deflate and be like, I'm going to take a break from this. And a break can lead to a bit of time off. Okay. So just be careful to be consistent when dealing with the cat stuff, because that could be a little bit draining for you. Also, I forgot to tell you guys, there is a 2 limit on questions because the audience has grown. Thank you so much for your continued support, everyone. But if you ask one question, you were like, oh, I wish you could ask another. Certainly you can. Okay. So we are doing 2. All right. Edgar says, does my great grandmother Pilar have any messages for me? When she comes in here, I'm seeing what almost looks like a droopy red rose. So I would be watching for that emoji. If you go on your phone right now, if you have an iPhone anyways, right? It looks like a droopy red rose. It's the kind of rose that you try to dry. It is dying out, but you want to save it. This looks beautiful. I feel like this is also, now this can be a birthday or an anniversary, it can also be passing anniversary or a deep love. Take it out resonates, but the fact that it's drooping can mean that you're feeling heavy in love. And she doesn't want to think of you as a droopy red rose. She doesn't want you to think of yourself as a droopy red rose. This is the kind of thing that we see in Disney movies when it's like, oh, the rose is behind glass, and by the time all the petals fall, you know what I mean? The princess. I mean, don't allow yourself to be waiting for your knight in shining armor for example. Don't be waiting around to fully live your life based on a love partner. Not to say that you are, but there is a sense of restriction on time with this symbology here. There is a sense of death of a healthy romantic love or a mature love. And so any areas of your life where you feel like maybe you are mature in love, you are self-developed, you do have character and integrity, you do deserve, something higher. You may be feeling as though you're getting tired, exhausted, or a part of you is kind of dying and waiting to share that either with the right person or with the right people. And so she's helping you to kind of revitalize and lift this. I do think, though, some of the labor is going to fall on you. Most of the labor is going to fall on you, okay, as it does in life typically, for the next 4 months. And then I want to say 2 months after that, or possibly the last 2 months of that as well, you could find new people entering into your life. It feels a bit like soul tribe members, and this could kind of excite you. This could bring you back to a place where you're believing more in love and connection and intimacy with people. okay, just in general. And they don't have to be best friends, and they don't have to be lovers necessarily, or someone that you get engaged to. It could just be that these meaningful interactions are bringing love back to life. So I would look forward to that if I were you. But she's overseeing it, and she means business. She said, I'm never late. Okay. I'm not always early, but I'm never late. So she never misses anything with you, whether it be something you're celebrating, an accomplishment, a graduation, you know what I mean? A hard situation, a deadline. She never misses. She's always there on that day. If not just before. We have a question here. I'm out of paper. Hold on. From Tony. We've got Tony Ramos. Tony Ramos says, did these last couple of weeks help toward my current situation with my daughter? The last couple weeks? Yes, I feel like it did. And in a couple ways in particular. Okay, so the first one being speed. The second one being information. And the third one being drama, leading to a closed door or like a rejudgment of some kind. All right, maybe this is a longer story than what I thought it was going to be. I'll talk fast. So the first thing that's really going on here, and it may have even started before these last few weeks, was that speed was picking up. And I feel like I've read this particular question before. So I may have been saying that. I may have been saying like speed's coming, speed's coming, speed's coming, but it did. And it continues to be that way, suggesting that at this point, you're kind of out of a free will zone where you ask the universe, what do I do? And the universe doesn't tell you left or right, black or white, right or wrong. It just says it's up to you, like you need to, figure it out or be patient, or, you were in a waiting place or a hold. So now it is moving in a destiny charted way. Speed is picking up. Now, what happens with that is that more information is revealed, which leads us right directly into number 2. So information is being revealed over the last few weeks, and you may not fully be aware of this. It doesn't seem like it's necessarily information for you. I think that the information that's coming for you, like you already kind of knew, maybe didn't have it or proof of it, but you knew it was there. You knew it existed. But this is for other people involved. Okay, so information is coming to the surface. You could have a lot of 7s following you around right about now. 5, change in many different areas at once, and 7 truths being revealed, right? Opportunities being opened up. There is talk of drama. So there could be some drama that is going to be brewing from the last few weeks. And that may also help things along, not necessarily with you, okay, but with other people involved. And there's talk of rejudgment and something down. I don't even know what the hell we wrote here. Something down, closed down, rejudgment. That looks like a door to me. Closed down. So, there's something after all of this is how it's going to play out in this timeline. Okay. So it goes speed, information, drama, closed down, almost like a door shutting. So there could be like a permanent change in a circumstance here that's better and working in your favor, and then rejudgment. So I like that. Yes. To answer your question is yes. Patricia Sullivan says, I would like to know how my past lives are influencing my current timeline. I love this. This was my last week's message to my YouTube members. Every week, they either get a message, I give them a reading, or I'll let them do like a dream analysis, and they can ask me anything or yes or no question. And last week, for the first time, I posted that they could ask about any past life question that they had. And this came up for so many of them. I love this. There's got to be something in the timing. All right. So Patricia wants to know, how do my past lives influence my current timeline? Past lives influencing her right now. Pick up and go, pick up and go, pick up and go. It can be heavy to look at. You could book a past life reading at any time or talk to your Akashic guide, but there were some circumstances where you were limited in some of your past lives, possibly even imprisoned or trapped in a system, whether it be with like literal chains or figurative chains, societal chains, financial chains. It's not different than the capitalistic society, this toxic cesspool that we call America. these are chains. We're all slaves here until we get the hell out of here. You know what I mean? It could be not imaginary, but more, figurative than literal. But for you, because I'm seeing it in such a strong way, I do think it played out in several different ways. And in this life, you get to break the chains. So what, Spirit's talking about here, and in particular, I'm getting this from your Akashic Record guide who watches over all of your past life information, as you probably know, we're talking about you picking up speed, and actually being able to accomplish things in your life in such a way where these chains don't hold you back or stop you, or you don't limit your own self, right, from doing it because of exhaustion or fear of failure or rejection, being a cog in the wheel. We tend to get so exhausted in systems like this that we just limit ourselves, right? And then whoever's up there in the hierarchy who's doing this to us, they don't even have to work at it anymore. You just limited your own self. So this is about picking up speed. This is about, in this life, seeing things through. This is also about you unapologetically doing what you want to do. So maybe saying, whether you have children or you got married or you went and got a college degree or you have a career, whatever, maybe you did do some of these things, but you're not going to let them stop you from living within your life contract and creating a career, a lifestyle full of fulfillment, right? And alignment, just for them, that you're not going to sacrifice it all. It's also possible, you battled with those things and you really did want to reject all of those things so that you could live free and clear. And for a lot of women, that's kind of the only choice we have, is to pick one way or the other, because it can be really hard to do both. Again, chains around the ankles, so you are at a point now where you're really getting ready to launch, and keep it up, pick up speed and keep on going. It's like now you're cooking with gas. Okay. Momentum counts. All right. We're going to move on to Kenzie on TikTok. Okay. Hi, TikTok. I'm trying to pull away from my person. Do you hear the cat? Do you hear Ezzy calling you out on this? Let me see. She hasn't made a peep. I'm trying to pull away from my person. Initials are CD. Is he going to try to come back, or is it over? Oh, he'll come back. Yeah. Over and over and over again. This person isn't going anywhere. Neither is his growth, unfortunately. Okay. And that's typically what goes on with people. So people who resist change, they resist growth, they are allergic to self-development, right? They latch on to someone who does do those things, and they try to ride that wave, ride those coattails, feed off of your energy. So you're a food source for this person, kind of like a parent, kind of like a mom. Okay. You're a food source for this person. So what they do to increase through illusion their desirability, because they're not bringing anything to the table, is they pull away, and they may ghost or wall you out, or disappear, I'm gone forever, right? Very dramatic. And then they come back. And by the time they come back, the goal is to have you trained up from the trauma so that you're waiting on them. You've been thinking on them. You're, calling into shows like this and saying will my person come back? I would not claim this as your person. Also, I'll just say that. Okay. Because that's a manipulative tactic. That's an abusive tactic. It's something that people who don't have anything to offer use. Because I see this person coming back. This may happen over and over and over and over again in a cycle. And you already have a pattern of this 3 more times or more, before you fully catch on. So I would catch on now. But this isn't, when we say things like, this is my person, we want to be careful that we're just saying it in a more casual way, that we're not actually crediting this person for being the one, or falling into the myth of twin flames. That's not a real thing, right? Suggesting that's your other half, you're not a whole person. We don't want to give credit where it hasn't been earned. Okay, so make them earn a title like that. But I do understand. Maybe you're just using it in this like phrase, like this is the person I'm asking about. But I didn't get that energy. I feel like you really, really are pulling at this person. Okay, if I were you, I would also do a cord cutting because this person is showing up in your dreams, signs and symbols of them all around you. Thank you for the hearts on TikTok. Thank you for the gifts. They're energetically pulling at you, telepathically interrupting your thoughts. Half the time you think on this person, it's not because of you, it's because they're pulling and tugging at you. If you don't know how to cord cut, there's a class up on my website called cord cutting. Okay. But I would start there and I would definitely look at the past patterns and be like, what if that happens again and again and again? And then I would, if I were you, bank on it. Okay. You are everything in this relationship. And the potential that you see in this person is not here right now. Okay. So we have to deal with what's in front of us. Anna says, do my grandmothers, Mary or Marie, have any messages for me? Marie does. I feel like Mary does too. I'll try to get to both of them. So when I go over here with Marie, I feel like she has been, what the hell? She has a shotgun like lock, stock, and barrel. You seem done with some situations in your life. And it's like, you're ready to aim and fire. You know, I kind of pity the fool who crosses you around this time. You may be feeling a little bit like, oh, well, that's a little out of character. You know what I mean? Or like, I just walked out of that situation, that job, that relationship, whatever. It's like, I don't normally snap like that, you know, but you didn't snap. You just have some righteous, you know, maybe rage coming out. You're just identifying where your boundaries need to be laid. You're just doing the work, you know, but it's like, and fire. And I feel like what you're looking at doing going forward is making sure that you're not waiting on anyone. You're not waiting on anything. You're not expecting approval to get done what you need to. This is with money. This is in your day-to-day lifestyle. This is in building your future, you know, your resources. I mean, it's really across the board. And I feel like anything, you know, clearly that's in your way is going to be blown away by you. So I feel good about that. She's helping you with that. When I go over here with your grandma, Mary, she's a little softer. I feel like, thank you for keeping the candle lit for me. Okay. So there's just talk here. This is very, like, I see you in bed. Okay. So thank you for keeping the candle lit for me. So if you're talking to them, like as you're dozing off or when you're in bed, you know, you are even giving them blessings or asking for them to show up in your dreams or just saying hello to them in any way, you know, it is keeping the conversation going. And I feel like she is visiting you in dreams. She said 2. Now that can be 2 different dreams, but that can also mean like 2 nights. So watch for her in that. And I feel like you're reaching she said like maybe like a revolutionary point in life where exploration is about to come in, and that feels really exciting. All right. They are opposites. CJG says, why do men say I'm the best thing, but never treat me like it? And when I leave after giving them too many chances, I'm hated. Because men know that they're lying. And when you fall for it, they think you're dumb and they start disrespecting you. Okay. So I have to fix TikTok. And this is going to sound like super negative, but look at the research behind it. Men are coming in, not showing their true colors. Again, someone asked a question earlier, and I talked about some new research that just came out that shows that men are deceiving. And their first mask slips at 6 months. The second mask slips at 1.5 years. The third mask slips at 3 years. Okay. So what's happening when you're giving something to them that they haven't earned, like they haven't proven to you that they are solid and consistent and deserving, you know, of your time, attention, affection, love. You've given too much too soon. They think you're stupid. Because they know they're lying. They know they're faking it. and then they start hating you. Okay. Psychos. That's psychotic. Okay. They need mental health intervention. Yesterday, hundreds of years ago. Okay. Look at the state of the world. Don't deal with them. If you feel like they are toxic, low level energies, if you, and this is for anyone, if you feel like you need to cut men off because they're always psycho, they're always hateful, they're always jealous, stealing your identity, whatever it is, cut them off. Your money will blow up. Your health will increase. Your hair will grow back. Your joy will skyrocket. Okay. I mean, it's the best thing that you could do. There just isn't really space for that right now. If you're looking for, one that is being authentic, you're really going to have to wait a very long time before giving back to them. That's your only real option, which you should have been doing anyways, so making them earn it. We're talking 6 months, a year and a half, and 3 years. Make them earn it, earn it, earn it, right? If you make it hard for them, if you make it so that you're not going to just give freely straight out of the gate before they earned it, they will run off. They are weak. Okay. They are looking to siphon and extract energy. They aren't going to work for it. They chose you because they didn't have to work for it. And then they disrespected you for it. Okay. Because you fell for it. So the easiest thing to do with guys when dealing with them is just don't give them anything and see if they run off. Make them earn it. They're not going to earn it. Most of them won't earn it. They could play a big game, and then they will typically just fall off and be like, oh, she's smart. She's going to make me earn it. And that's it. That's the end of that. Mask off in record time because you figured out that there was one. Okay. And I think that for anyone who is thinking of like becoming abstinent, joining 4B, whatever it is, if you've been having money problems, if you've been having issues with resources, or even health issues, stop dealing with men altogether and see if all of that doesn't skyrocket for you almost overnight. Okay. So it's a root issue because we are feeding low level energy and the universe holds us accountable for that. You get what is called negative karmic kickback every time you entertain something or someone beneath you. Okay. So it's the solution to many, many things. But why do they hate? Because they're psychos, because they are hateful. They hate themselves. And so they hate everyone else. And if they can use you as a punching bag, they would love to. And that's what that's all about. It's also about breaking you so that you start hating yourself. Like misery loves company. People who hate themselves will abuse others to get them to then hate themselves or have like low self-esteem, whatever it is. It's sick. All right. Katie says, a very important relationship to me is strained. Will it get better? And if so, do I need to forgive? Okay. So hold on a minute. Okay. It's strained. Will it get better? If so, do I need to forgive? Or will the situation for the other person change, which will then make things better? Or will it just change? Okay. And I don't have a name either with all this. I don't have a name, initials, anything. No. All right. For those of you dropping questions, especially like, it's, you got to give me the name, first name, or give me the initials. All right. Strained relationship in Katie's life. Will it get better? Forgive. Will it just change? It's not going to change. You have a lot of pattern here. So just go by the patterns. Patterns never lie. There really is a science to it. Okay. I think you want things to change. I think you want for there to be like an end to the drama. I think you want a peaceful exchange. I think you have worked at that. I think what, you sense now is that it's gotten to a point almost like a deadline, where the universe is saying, okay, time's up with this. And, what we can see in a situation like this is that it quickly starts to deteriorate to a point of no return. So I think that forgiveness in this situation is going to be more like you forgiving yourself for continuously feeding the relationship when you saw negative patterns, toxicity, right? Drama. When you saw that this person was like self-centered, wasn't thinking on you, wasn't showing empathy toward you, concerned for you and your well-being, all of these things. I think the forgiveness is going to need to go back onto yourself. And I don't feel like the situation is going to get better at this time, because this is a person who keeps going like 180 miles an hour like a freight train in their own direction, and is actually kind of full of escapism and avoidance and some other problems. This may be an individual who's struggling with their mental health. I cannot prescribe or diagnose. And you're sort of just watching it. You're watching it. Okay. Like a freight train, like, oh, like I'm watching this train, like go off the freaking rails. And what can you do? But hope. You can, instead of putting negative energy toward it, through like worry or distress or negative thinking about it, you can instead visualize what you want to have happen. I tell parents to do this with their kids all the time. Instead of worrying about your kids all the time and throwing that negativity at them, just visualize what you want to have happen in their life, okay? And leave it. Let it go. That is alignment. That's manifestation. The other thing you can do in this situation, Katie, but it doesn't mean it's going to turn it around, okay? This individual has to decide to turn some things around. What you can do is a meditation where you kind of close your eyes and call them forward, like you can see them in front of you, and you can say, my higher mind wants to talk to your higher mind. And you can say, my inner child wants to play with your inner child. And you can have a discussion about the things that are going on, on a spiritual realm in a more productive way. Talk about the changes that you would like to see happen. And, possibly it can get the ball moving a little bit more. But no, ultimately, no change here for a while, because this person is, again, a freight train, okay? Getting ready to go off the rails. Lacristia? What a beautiful name. Lacristia? Is there anything I need to know at this time? Thank you. Anything for Lacristia? Anything they need to know? I just feel like work. I feel like, plugging along, and maybe feeling as though everything's okay. I have maybe my medical or my dental or my paycheck or like food on the table, roof over my head. Like everything's okay. But there is this sense of change coming in. And I heard, what was that movie? Who remembers that movie in the 90s? It was Something Wicked This Way Comes. The winds of change, right? Something wicked this way comes. I'm hearing the winds of change are coming, and it may be disruptive for other people in your workspace, not necessarily you, but it may be an opportunity for you to level up. So if there's anything you've been wanting to do to have greater fulfillment, get more in alignment with your life contract, your life purpose, take a mic, okay? Speak, teach, lead, communicate more, share more. This can bring a lot of prosperity and a sense of significant joy to your life. Even if you're like, I'm good, I don't need to be interacting with the public anymore, with people anymore. No. Sometimes you're just not doing it in the right way. You're just willy-nilly at the mercy of Walmart. You know what I mean? Sometimes when we're, more proactive, we are deliberate in the way that we communicate and show up for the other humans, it can take on an entirely different life form. And that's what I see happening here. So a lot of this also feels like spiritual development. I wouldn't be surprised if you're finding feathers around this time. And I want to say for the next probably 4 to 5 months, just random feathers showing up in different places. This is a sign of you coming into more leadership as well. Scotty, so we've got Scotty on TikTok says, how will things unfold with my case against Negrin? Let's see. I feel like fast and then slow. And then a lot of examination and a holding space and a waiting space, and then possibly a couple reschedules. And then it feels like things wrapping up after 2 more, either conversations, discussions. This could be trying to come to an agreement. How does it look? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bit of a long haul. Ultimately not. Okay. When we look at the bigger picture and we really step back, it's like, oh, okay. Maybe that only took like, 6 to 7. This could be weeks. I was feeling more like months. Okay. I have a conclusion in the 9th. Could it be 9 weeks? It could. I was going to say months. But ultimately, it feels like someone dragging their feet, and it feels like people not necessarily prioritizing this. It seems like a lot of shuffling of paperwork and things getting sort of swept away or swept under the carpet or put from the top of the priority list down to the bottom. Okay. So I would expect some of that. Ultimately, though, I think you're walking away feeling satisfied. I think you're walking away feeling as though you were understood and you understand the way that things are. Okay, so yeah, I think positively, but a bit of a dragged out situation with that. Donique says, also there's talk of like something toxic happening there. I want to go back to Scotty real quick. There's talk of something toxic happening there. So whoever had the real toxic behavior is going to get caught for that. Donique says, I'm missing my dad and wondering if he has a message for me. His name is Raymond, but everyone called him Sonny. Sonny, I love that name. All right, Donique, Sonny, any messages? Okay. So, when he comes in here, I feel him tucking you into bed, which means he is trying to visit in dreams. He is also trying to visit through astral travel. He said, no, I'm not trying. I do. He's good at this. He is good at this. This is impressive. Okay. So when you see him in dreams, his mouth isn't moving. These are going to be brief encounters. Like you're standing next to each other, or you're in the same room, you're sitting on the same couch or at the same table. You know what I'm saying? But it is supportive. It is nice energy, even though it is brief and you're communicating telepathically. Now, what he's doing, he's taken it to the next level, which is impressive. This is astral travel. He's good at astral travel. You're good at astral travel. This means that you actually make an agreement to meet up, okay, in other dimensions, which allows you to stay together for longer, extended periods of time, to communicate more, to even problem solve or, engage in some things. And so I feel like you're both, really good at it. It can also lead to things like, you wake up and you like, I can't prescribe a diagnosis, but maybe sleep apnea, sleep paralysis. You feel like you're falling out of bed or you get sucked into a tunnel, right? That's all connected to astral travel. But you are choosing to do this. So there's a lot of lucid techniques you're deliberately using as well. He is talking also about rise and shine, wake up. If you've been having a hard time either getting going in the morning or you've been feeling, I keep having you look at another female. So I don't know if this is like a sister or a friend, or kind of feeling maybe defeated or like disconnected from people, or like maybe a little disconnected from your life. I mean, who isn't experiencing that right now? Maybe we wish we could disconnect more. It's just sort of like almost like a numbness. I feel like he's saying like, rise and shine. Okay. Get up. I heard you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. He's showing you his sunflowers. And I feel like birds. Okay. Blue birds. It's like rise and shine, get up and shine out in the world. He's giving you the strength to get out of bed. Okay. But to get through every day, the things that you need to do, and to go out into the world and to be you and to shine authentically as yourself. And I feel like work your magic, because I feel like you bring healing to a lot of people. And I think you're changing the world, whether it be systems or individuals, all the same thing, really, right? I feel like one day at a time. Okay, you are changing the world, and he's proud of you for that. Okay. But sometimes you just need to escape through your dreams. If you're having any trouble remembering your dreams, I have a class on the website called Dreams where I talk about how to unblock. Okay. But if you've blocked dreaming at all, where you can't remember your dreams, sometimes try to keep a notepad and pen in the bed where you jot down the main symbology, and try to deal with any stressors you've had in your life within the last year or so that may have caused for you to block your dreams out, because this is a big thing for him. He's real proud of you. Sarah Lee says, "Is the person I most recently have been drawn to and connecting with just a distraction?" I don't have a name for this. I don't even have initials for this. Again, you guys got to drop names. Okay. There are a lot of people in the world, a lot of people you're thinking on. All right, I'll just wing it then. Is the person I most recently have been drawn to and connecting with just a distraction? Just a distraction? I heard it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be, but I think that something about them, if they are leaning into their ghosty type energy. Okay, I got Jay. If they're leaning into their ghosty energy, which is a tendency there, where basically if they feel like they have to work at something, if something seems weird or inconsistent in any way, or if you're giving off weird vibes, Sarah, this person will ghost and just sort of disappear, pulling back energetically, literally, physically, okay, in whatever ways a person can ghost. This is a runner. So the only real way to handle a runner is to kind of give them what they want, to keep it light, to keep it interesting, to keep it engaging. And if that feels like a distraction to you, I could understand that. But I don't have it being wrong. I don't know how else to explain this other than like, what's wrong with that? You know, if you are looking for something solid and stable, no, this isn't it. But if you are looking for a pleasant interaction that can be uplifting to your energy, then yes, this is it. And I wouldn't call that a distraction. I think we need to honor our relationships with all kinds of people. You know, it's like, it's just understanding this. Some people are in your life just to have fun with, and some people are in your life to have deeper, intimate connections and chemistry with, and some people are in your life to go to bed with, and some people are in your life to have like long-term committed relationships where we build something, and like none of them are right or wrong, or just, you know, it's categorizing. Take people and categorize them and keep them where they belong. You know, if they can't elevate beyond that, then they can't. That doesn't make it a distraction or bad, unless they're lying and then cut them off, you know. But I don't think that happens here. I think this person just dips. Eric says, does my sister Lisa Evans have any messages for me? Lisa Evans, Lisa for Eric, any messages? I heard work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. But it's kind of like, where's the play hard? It's just work hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. You may be feeling either like things that were fun for you once aren't fun for you anymore. And she's trying to come in to kind of shake it up and to get you to realize that, and to get you to taste the flavors of life in the universe and the world around you. And like maybe take a trip to Arizona or go into a cave with a shaman and eat some peyote, or like, I don't know, you know, fly to the beach in the Bahamas. It's like she's trying to come in here and be like, try this, try this, try this. She misses you. She loves you very much. I feel like you miss her too. You guys had a great bond here for sure. I do feel like this is a soulmate connection, which is a work contract. Okay. And this is one of the areas that, you know, you need to be working on, is looking at different ways to excite yourself, different ways to intrigue yourself, different ways to stay connected to your life and the world and the universe and the human experience, right? And other people. Even the environment. I feel like you're a bit disconnected. So it's very possible, again, things that used to make you feel balanced or used to hold your attention and feel fun, feeding your inner child, those things aren't working anymore. So you may just be like throwing, like, what do they say? Throwing stuff at the wall, like to see what sticks. I think of making pasta, you know, and it's like, you know, which is fine. I think that's exactly what she's suggesting. This isn't a message of like, it's time to join, you know, sip and paint. It's time to join class. It's time to, I don't feel like it's that serious. I feel like it's supposed to be all over the map. The other thing she's mentioning with you is what feels like maybe the family either trying to hold everything together or feeling like the family is separated. in some ways. So separation in the family. And I feel like you just kind of trying to do your own thing. Okay. Just doing your own thing, walking your own path in life to the beat of your own drum. She just wants you to know how much she loves you. She's also giving a red rose. This is like the third red rose tonight. Red rose, which is a birthday or anniversary right around this time. This can also be a passing anniversary or just a deep love. Take it how it resonates. Esmeralda Marie Rivera, everyone. Say hi, Ezzy. Oh, that was a little meow. Okay. Okay, so we are at time, which means this is last call. Okay, last call for anyone who wants to get their question in or drop your donation and get your question in also. Okay, if you're just starting with us here tonight. In the meantime, Jill, if you want to pop up any testimonies here, any comments, because I did not have time to look at the comment feed at all. You can pop those up now while we wait and give people one extra minute here. I do see Donique, Sarah says, thank you. You are very welcome. I do want to remind everyone that if you want to ask a question, just one, you're like, I don't really need a whole reading. You could just drop an email question at any time. And again, I do work internationally. So also if my time availability isn't working with you for the schedule, you can get a video reading also. So Patricia Sullivan says, it makes so much sense. I must book a reading with you. I do limit my own self a lot. This was the past life question, wasn't it? So I have psychic amnesia. So once I say something, I don't remember. I don't remember the client. I don't remember what I said. But I think that was that past life question. I do limit my own self a lot because of fear and failure and fear of unworthiness. Like I'm not about to ever obtain success and abundance. And I mean, maybe this wasn't the past life question. You guys could go back and listen. But Patricia, that makes so much sense here because when we have a history, maybe not even, horrifically in this life, definitely in this life, right? The society, maybe even parents or generational curses, have done this to you. But when we have past life history of being restricted or, being used in a slave system or being imprisoned in any way. I mean, it's so deep in your psyche that when you're born in this life, it's just natural to feel like I'm never going to accomplish anything. Like I'm never going to get there. So I may as well quit. And it's easier to just toe the line and decide not to rock the boat and try to have an attitude of gratitude and count your blessings and to be like, well, I'm going to bloom where I'm planted and leave it at that and call it a day. Right. Which just means you reincarnate, you do it all over again. So, yeah, absolutely. I see, do we have any other questions or comments? Manny Corregidor said, yes, Muffins, Muffins, the cat who came through in spirit. Yes. Muffins was very attached to me. Plus I feel movements on my bed often, like you said. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, because the jumping is something you would definitely notice. Adorable. Oh, God bless them. All right. And do we have any other comments or any other questions coming in? Okay, we have another question coming in. So again, you guys, this is your last call to get your questions in. I do want to say also, as this last question comes up here, thank you so much for your continued support. Okay. I used to do shows every other week. And so just a couple times a month. And because of the demand and the constant interaction, you guys have been so beautiful. I am able now to do shows every single Wednesday. And then sometimes I'm also here on Sundays. But I am looking in 2026 to be running 2 shows per week. So if you guys keep showing interest, I will be doing that. Also, please follow me now because I posted a poll a couple weeks ago about different show ideas I'm going to be trying out. And I'm going to be doing this in like the upcoming month or so. So I'm going to test out a couple new show ideas. And if I get good feedback from you guys, I will make them part of the lineup officially for 2026, maybe a show only on past life readings, a show only about your deceased pets, a show that's only messages from spirit, a show that's only about your horoscope for the week or the month, a show only about the blessings that are coming to you. There was something else in that poll, but I don't remember what it was. Okay. All right. So we have another question coming in here. Jesse wants to know, this is Jesse with an I. Can you tell me about my spirit guides? Okay. So there's a class on the website called Meet Your Guides. I'm going to be teaching it live in February or March, again, for the Psychic Mediumship course, if you want to join. It is now video download, though. Okay, so essentially, you get 5 guides appointed to you. Joy guide who watches over your spiritual and emotional well-being and your mental well-being. You have a relationship guide who watches over all of your relationships, and Akashic who watches over your past life history and how it applies to your life currently. And you have a protector guide who watches over all of your safety issues, including health, dealing with people you shouldn't be, getting into circumstances you shouldn't be, and then a work guide who, yes, watches over your paycheck and your medical coverage, but also your life contract, what you came here to do. So what you're going to want to do to better, get in touch with each one of your guides is not ask a reader to give specific names. Most of them don't have names, okay? They are allowing you to name them typically, or they want to give you specifically, not a reader, they want to tell you their name. This is an opportunity for you to share that experience with them. I would also not reach out, to any readers to give you like specifics on what nationality they are. And certainly don't assume that they're all native, because natives work with other natives, right? So I'm Arawak. So any of my guides that are native tend to come through my bloodline and things like that. So when people say, oh, well, all the guides are native, that's really not how that operates. You want to be open and don't let anyone else tell you, because that's the typical thing, right? What they're wearing or what they look like or what nationality they are. Ask them these types of questions, and know in particular that with your guides, when one of your guides is around a lot, so you would feel like you're having weird paranormal activity, you may question who out of your loved ones is coming through with messages, why is there all of this activation in the spirit world? It is that guide who is overseeing change in that area of your life. So this could happen. For example, if you're about to go through a breakup, or if you need to, that's your relationship guide haunting, right? Your house, your dreams. You hear your name audibly called. You see, somebody up in your face at night when the veil is lifted between the worlds, dozing off or waking up. If you're going through a massive job change, career, maybe you're debating on going to further your education or something like this, that is your work guide. Okay, so your guides are showing up typically one at a time based on whatever's going on in your life. So whenever paranormal activity increases, you can automatically go, okay, what's happening in my life right now? Okay, again, the word is change that we're looking for here. And which guide is connected to that. And I would highly suggest sitting for 10, 15 minutes with your morning cup of coffee or tea every morning and asking your guides these 3 questions. What should I focus on today? What pitfalls can I avoid? And how can I better be of service? Okay. If you talk with your guides every single morning, you are never going to be taken off guard by anything. All right. And you will know them like the back of your hand. All right, great question. Thank you so much. I think we are at time officially. Okay, so again, if you guys want to come and see me at one of my events, go onto my website, Ivy Rivera Psychic Medium.com, hit the events button, and you could see where I'll be. This Friday, I'm already pre-booking, and Saturday, I will be at the Holiday Market at the Richardson Olmsted campus, the old haunted psych ward in Buffalo, New York. Over 70 vendors. Pre-book up to 3 readings per person. Come see me there. And you guys can book a reading. Again, I do work internationally. Most of what I do is over the phone. So you can book on my website anytime. And I will see you guys next Wednesday for the Unbound Sage. Thanks so much, everyone. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Jill. Have a great night, everybody. Ezzy. Okay. Still running, Jill. Still running. I'll let you figure it out. Still, Mama. Still, Mama. You go outside? I know. Well, you didn't. You didn't want to go outside. I didn't trap you. I didn't trap you. I did not. No viewers, no gifters, no followers on TikTok, yet 95% success rate compared to others. That doesn't make any sense. Come on, go outside. Go outside.